I can avoid speech. Ready? Let's go before it gets ugly. Ready, Patrick? Okay.
Good afternoon. This is the Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals, March 11, 2026, 2 p.m. meeting. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
In light of the fact that I don't see anyone in the audience who has not been here at least once, I'm going to waive the speech, and let's proceed with the cases.
Okay.
Is there any? Have you been here before, sir? Is he with you? Brief him. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Minerva. Okay, consider yourself briefed.
Mr. Chairman, we do have an application for withdrawal of an application, case 61925, Levittown Catering Incorporated, also known as 2686 Hempstead Turnpike. You know, I swear. Just your name and address for the record.
Hello again. Ashley Lowe-Keanese from Mark Anthony Architects, 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I'm here today to request a withdrawal of application due to a change in the scope of work for Levittown Catering. The property owners are changing the type of business that is going to be going into the property. So we are still up at the building department and will file a new application down with the Board of Appeals.
What kind of business? Just curious.
A wellness and medical aesthetics clinic.
That's closely related. Okay. Any questions from the board? If not, we will grant the request for a withdrawal. Thank you for coming in. That's the nicest application you made today.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
See you later.
Ciao, ciao.
Next, we're going to call case 15226, Seaford LDG Group LLC, doing business as Gino's Seaford, variance in off-street parking, expand pizzeria into portion of existing building, also known as 3535 through 3555 Merrick Road.
A number of people who... All right.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank
Name and address for the record.
Janice Whalen, Whelan, 23 Green Street, Suite 205, Huntington, New York, for the applicant.
Sean Mulryan, Mulryan Engineering, 1225 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, New York.
May I begin?
Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. Again, my name is Janice Whalen. I appear for Gino's, seeking an off-street parking variance to maintain an operating dining room measuring 1,260 square feet off a pizzeria in a long-standing Seaford shopping center. 15 months ago, we moved into a former nail salon, and that space has been operating again for 15 months. We're an existing and operating business with a valid building permit for the dining room before you today. The parking variance is premised upon the dining room square footage and all the other shopping center uses, which I will describe in detail. Our presentation is based upon the site plan prepared by Robert Allweiss, dated May 14th. It shows 28 seats in the original area, pizza area, with 52 seats in the dining area. We added for 10 employees for a total occupancy of 90 persons. But again, the variance before you is premised upon square footage of the entire Gino's use. Mr. Mulryan will present his parking assessment, and accompanying me also is one of the owners of Gino's, Joseph Donlin. He's here in the audience. Signs were posted and letters were sent. A couple of points I'd like the board to consider in my presentation. We are committed to respecting the quiet enjoyment of all the neighboring residents. Our business is 70% takeout and 30% in-house dining. Our peak operating hours, as Mr. Mulryan will express, are Friday and Saturday nights. I'd like the record to reflect that I uploaded 2 letters to the town portal. The first describes Gino's community engagement since it opened its doors 12 years ago. The second is a community outreach letter that Mr. Donlin distributed to neighbors this past Sunday in response to comments that were received by the board. A little bit about Gino's. The owners are seasoned pizzeria and restaurant owners with deep ties to the Seaford community. They have 3 locations on Long Island, East Norwich, Garden City, and the Gino's in Seaford. 2 of the owners were born and raised in Seaford, as were their parents. Since they opened in 2014, they've built a solid reputation as for delivering fresh eat-in and takeout offerings, but also for their steadfast support of the Seaford community. They regularly donate to local schools and youth sports organizations, such as the Seaford Little League. They host fundraisers for families in need, and they're active members of the Seaford Chamber of Commerce, engage with neighbors to be a positive and long-standing presence in Seaford. We understand the board received 9 neighbor complaints, with 7 being anonymous. Immediately, Mr. Donlin sprung into action, drafting and distributing the community letter and knocking on doors on Kenora Place and Naomi Place. He spoke with many people. Illegal parking and building maintenance are concerns somewhat apart from our request, although we understand that this could be the first forum that the neighbors had to raise their concerns. We agree that the rear of the center and the rear fence need significant improvement and that people disregard parking restrictions. That requires enforcement. Prohibited parking areas are clearly marked, and we do not condone any illegal parking in the area. A note about anonymous complaints. We take all complaints very seriously, although we fear that some of the anonymous complaints, particularly 4 that were submitted in a 15-minute period, may have been generated by a disgruntled neighboring business owner with whom we no longer do business. Nonetheless, we actively sought out on foot to listen and address our neighbors' concerns. We received the neighbor comments this past Friday and again drafted the community outreach letter. This past Sunday, Mr. Donlin spent hours knocking on approximately 20 neighbors' houses, personally addressing the concerns, with the goal to work collaboratively to ensure our business operates respectful of the residents. In those conversations, Mr. Donlin provided his personal contact information. He confirmed to the neighbors that we do not seek to expand the Gino's footprint, but merely legalize the occupancy for the space that we've already been operating for 15 months. We confirmed, again, that the application does not seek to capture any additional shopping center space. Mr. Donlin promised the neighbors he will immediately remove from the parking lot the pizza truck, which will be stored off-site when not in use, and will remove the box truck, which currently serves as dry storage. He confirmed to the neighbors that there are no new plans to create any new entrances and exits to the parking lot. Most importantly, Mr. Donlin confirmed that he will cease doing business with any vendors who park on Kenora. The same prohibition will be given to delivery drivers. Mr. Donlin also drafted a work and maintenance request to deliver to the landlord, advising that the lack of building upkeep and dilapidated fencing has kind of seeped into our variance request. We agree with one neighbor who requests that the fence be slightly extended to obscure the garbage and loading area. We will do our best to address the neighbors' concerns, which are under our control, and actively advocate on the neighbors' behalf on maintenance matters within the landlord's control. In terms of safety and visibility, our parking calculations do not and would not include any area where parking is prohibited on Kenora. We fully support public safety and support code enforcement. No one should be parking illegally on Kenora. Gino's will be the loudest voice and advocate to the landlord on behalf of the neighbors in terms of building maintenance. After meeting with the neighbors and suppliers, Gino's has decided that 100% of all suppliers, produce, dry, fish, purveyors, and beverages will deliver in the morning by a key drop system, meaning that deliveries will occur before hours to not disturb any residents, and any parking will happen in the shopping center. In terms of deliveries, they're made by box trucks, sprinter vans, or small trucks, and typically take no more than 10 to 15 minutes. We have our own private refuse collection, which takes place 2 times a week in roughly 2 minutes during business hours, not to disturb the neighbors during morning or evening hours. Again, Geno's is committed and engaged to be a responsible business neighbor to the residents. The Kenmore Shopping Center was built 70 years ago, 1957. It's a long-standing Seaford center of neighborhood retail, office, and dining use. It's located in the business district with lot area just under 50,000 square feet and street frontage of about 283 square feet. The building footprint is 23,000 square feet, but it has building area of 27,000 square feet. The site is bordered to the south on Merrick Road by Allied Builders Supply, the Fireplace Store, and Masters Auto Collision. To the east, the site is bordered by Napoli Marble and Granite Design and a trophy store. To the south, the shopping center is bordered by residences along Kenora and Naomi. And to the west, to a post office. Mr. Donlin has literally spent thousands of hours in this pizzeria and knows the comings and goings of what happens with the businesses across Merrick Road. The employees of Masters, Napoli, and Allied park generally on Kenora and Naomi and return to their cars like clockwork at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock at the end of the workday. So leaving those spaces open, and again, legal spaces. These commercial businesses do not operate on Saturday and Sunday, thereby leaving available legal street parking after 4 p.m. and on weekends.
Ooh, I'm sorry, which ones are you referring to with that Napoli Marble? Which one?
Napoli, Masters, Allied, and the Fireplace Store.
Those are the ones you're referring to that don't operate on weekends.
Correct.
And also, you mentioned the deliveries before things get open in the morning. 2 things. There's always the issue of the idling truck, the diesel. So if you can address that whenever you get to it. But also, what about garbage pickup? Because that's a different animal. Because if that's too early, the noise of the garbage, the truck dumping the garbage.
We actually, Mr. Donlin addressed that before this meeting. Garbage is collected privately, and he has requested that the garbage pickup occur during business hours to not disturb the neighbors in the morning and in the evening. In terms of idling, we will communicate with our vendors that I've been told that deliveries happen within moments. They're in and out. They have a key to the building. But and I'm not saying that they will, but if a truck is idling, it's going to be in the parking lot of the Seaford Shopping Center, not anywhere near Kenora. Again, Mr. Donlin has vehemently told vendors he will not do business with anybody who's parking their truck or their Sprinter van on Kenora. It's just not fair to the neighbors, and he's committed to enforcing that.
You said that he's going to request the garbage pickup be during, but does he have the power to require it? Okay. Thank you.
The current shopping center configuration is comprised of 9 storefronts. I will describe each use and how we get to this number that the code requires a certain number of parking spaces, which we submit is largely driven by the retail, gym, therapy, and office spaces. Geno's has about 3,200 square feet. We calculate that we need, or rather the code calculates about 35 parking spaces for Geno's. Unit 3 is a former dry cleaner. It's vacant. That space accounts for about 7 spaces. Unit 4 and 5 is Frida's Mexican Grill. Their calculation is about 49 spaces. Unit 6 is a In-N-Out Asian food takeout place. They account for 6 spaces. The liquor store is about 2,900 square feet. They account for 15 spaces.
What kind of store?
Liquor store. I was there with my family several weeks ago, and if I saw one person in the liquor store at night, and I saw a lot of cross-pollination. Somebody might be in the liquor store, and then they're going to go in the Chinese restaurant, or go into Frida's, or go into Geno's. 3 more uses.
I didn't see the liquor store on the map. That's why I was.
It's in the corner by the gym. So in other words, Geno's is on the western side of the shopping center. Right. The liquor store is more in the crease, in the corner.
Mine says dry cleaner, Mexican, Chinese, second story office, nail salon.
It's the nail salon space. It's 2,900 square feet and it's operated by a wine and liquor store.
So number 7 is no longer a nail salon, it's a wine store.
Correct. But same parking calculation, 1 per 200. So Unit 8 is a training facility called The Movement. It accounts for about 1,800 square feet, so about 10 spaces. Interesting are their hours, which I think really helps us. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, Saturday, 8 to 1, and they're closed on Sunday. So when they would have people coming in is opposite our peak hours. Sensory Stars is a children's pediatric, a children's therapy place. They offer speech and occupational therapy. They occupy close to 9,500 square feet. So their parking need is about 24 spaces. They're open, again, Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, Saturday, 8 to 1, Sunday closed. Again, when we need the parking, they're not operational. There's also offices related to the liquor store that measure about 4,600 square feet. Again, they're operating during business hours, and I believe those offices are related to the liquor store, although not included in that 2,900 square feet. So between
So what are their number of spots?
their number is 24. So the retail, office, gym, and therapy uses account for 107 spaces. The bulk of what is required for this parking lot. And again, the peak parking demands of Geno's are Fridays and Saturday evenings. And again, 70% of our business is takeout, 30% is eat-in. A little bit about the CO and variance history. While the shopping center tenants have changed throughout the years, this shopping center is operated with the existing parking area, even though the code calculations require a great number more. Incidentally, the shopping center was built before the parking code came into effect. Changes in tenancies may have allowed parking spaces to be reallocated and reassigned in similar uses. In 1978, this board granted a parking variance. Yes, I do have the numbers. I have this as Exhibit 1, and at that time, there were 52 off-street parking spaces provided and 128 required. So who shall I give these exhibits to, Christina? Okay.
You said 52 provided and 108 required?
No, 128 required and 52 spaces, I believe, provided. Yeah, I provided, thank God for the town's records website. You can get all sorts of stuff now that you don't have to come down. You could just print it at home. That's Exhibit 1.
And what year was that?
That was 1978. In 2004, this board granted a parking variance in case number 69704 to expand the El Coyote Loco restaurant. And in that time, the board approved a total of 51 spaces where the count was 175 spaces. I have the transcript and I have the site plan, that's Exhibit 2.
And was it your understanding that in both those instances, they were doing we've gone through some years where they're doing one business?
No, in all of these cases, these two cases that came before the board previously, when the board considered the parking variance for one specific tenant, they took into account.
They did the aggregate.
They did the aggregate, as did we.
So you're saying in 78, the aggregate, they provided 52. The aggregate they thought was required is 128. Then it went to 175 in 04.
Correct.
And
I want to double check the number of provided in 78. I believe it was 52, but it might have been a little bit higher. It's definitely on the site plan. But again, the reason these numbers have changed is because the uses have changed throughout the years. I believe at one time there was a bar, maybe called Malibu, not related to the one in Long Beach. There was King Cullen in the shopping center. There's been a lot of fluid changes in the shopping center. In 2013 and 2014, the town issued certification for alterations for the pizzeria. And at that point, it was to accommodate occupancy of 48. And that's Exhibit 3. And then finally, in 2024, The town issued a certificate of completion for, wait one second, in November of 2024, the town issued certification for the dining room that's right before you today, which is the subject of today's application. A copy of the CO and the site plan are exhibit 4. Yeah, we're adding, so we're up to 11. Oh, okay. Yep. The site functions and has functioned with its various uses because the peak parking demands of the office, retail, and therapies do not overlap or coincide with the peak parking demands of the restaurant. Mr. Donlin reports that after retail hours, parking traffic is predominantly for the 2 restaurant uses. With regard to our 10 employees, some employees live together, some carpool together, others take public transportation. As an aside, Mr. Donlin and his partners have acted as a liaison and contact between the residential neighbors and his co-tenants to peacefully resolve any quality of life issues, such as timing of garbage removal, to ensure compatibility of the residential uses in the shopping center.
Is
a
it
little
the
bit
Chinese restaurant that you don't have anymore?
It's there. The Chinese restaurant
Oh,
is there.
you said the 2 restaurants.
Well, the 2, that's a takeout facility, so they don't have the parking
Oh,
demand.
so when you said that, you're referring to the Mexican and Chinos.
Correct. And with the Chinese takeout, it's in and out. I know that Mr. Mulryan will expand more on that. Geno's has operated since 2013, 2014. Their hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 10:30 to 9:30. Friday and Saturday, 10:30 to 10:30. Sunday, 11 to 9. They currently operate as a full-service dining room 7 days a week, and they're available for private parties. Again, our takeout order is comprised 70% of our business, 30% is eat in.
How long have they been operating in the expanded?
15 months, since December of 2024. I will now turn to Mr. Mulryan, who will present his professional parking study, unless the board has any questions of me.
One more question. What was in that space that they expanded into before they did?
It was a nail salon.
Nail salons everywhere.
Everywhere.
Used to be.
Yeah. It could be that maybe the nail salon moved to the now dining room, and that's when the liquor store took over.
And you said that you think a lot of the, you wonder if a lot of the people who are concerned about parking think that this is proposed as a further expansion.
I believe
not
so.
as maintaining the current existing conditions.
In reading the 9 constituent comments, that's the sense I got. And Mr. Donlin, physically knocked on doors all day Sunday. And that was his impression too, that people might have mistook this, that it was a further expansion. It's not. It's to maintain what we already have.
One of the things that has happened recently is the dry cleaner went out of business, so the brown paper went up on the windows, which coincided with the site being signed for the variance. So I believe that was part of the concern of the
So
neighbors.
wait, the dry cleaner's out of business too?
Currently.
So your counts, so.
No, the dry cleaner went out after the counts were completed. So this is very recent. The
So when you did your counts,
site was fully occupied.
what businesses were not at?
The site was fully occupied when we did our
Oh,
counts in
okay.
September.
And are we expecting further expansion into that area next?
Would they want to? They would, but we're right here for this application.
I understand.
Mr. Mulryan, you've been qualified by this board as an expert in parking and traffic on numerous occasions since the last time you qualified as an expert to testify on the issue of park.
Yeah.
Since the last time you qualified as an expert in traffic and parking, have any of your qualifications changed?
No, they have not.
If not, we will then once again qualify you as a traffic and parking expert, and are free to so testify.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
The presentation so far has been very comprehensive, but I will go through the traffic study that was submitted to the board. Again, the total shopping center was constructed almost 70 years ago. In 2013, the pizzeria currently existed at that site, or the food restaurant that existed at that site, expanded from 12 seats to 48 seats in the original location. The original location was 1,973 square feet. That expanded in 2024 to the space that we're talking about today, which was 1,274 square feet. So the total space that's being talked about today is 3,247 square feet, and that has existed again since December of 2024. Building permit at that time was 24-5765, and that was again issued in late November 2024. Since that time, the pizzeria has operated in the existing space. This space provides 47 parking spaces. As a full retail shopping center, the center would generate a requirement of 137 parking spaces. So regardless of the uses that are in this property, at any point, at any time, this site will require a parking variance. When we first reached out to the client, one of the main concerns was obviously the residents that live directly behind the site. There is a street running behind the property, and there are residential homes directly across the street. There is legal parking on that street, and we took concern as to how many cars were parked on that street. We found that even when the shopping center is busy, the number of parked cars on that street did not change significantly compared to when the parking lot was less busy. So when we looked at Friday afternoon, it was less busy than on Saturday or in the evenings, and we did not see a significant change on the street directly behind the subject site. That's not to say that some employees of some of the businesses in this shopping center or in the surrounding businesses may not be parking on that street in legal parking spaces. However, we did not see an overflow from the demands generated by this restaurant and also the other Mexican restaurant that exists within the shopping center. There's also a takeout restaurant in the center, that would generate cars and trips at the same time. Those are all, God bless you.
Bless you.
Those are all included in our study. And at no point during our study did this parking lot become completely saturated. We did see that in the evenings on Friday and on Saturday that the site was very busy. If you go to the site, there is definitely parking demand within the center, but we did find that there was availability at all times. And at no time did we witness an extensive amount of cars parking on the residential streets behind the subject site or on the side street next to the subject site. So that's a very brief overview. Again, this is an existing business that expanded approximately a year ago. They've been in operations. They were a little surprised to hear the concerns of the neighbors, but once again, once they heard those concerns, they reached out to those neighbors. As you can see, the owner did a good job speaking to the neighbors because there's nobody here to speak against this application, but he did take those concerns to heart. He did go out and knock on doors and speak to the neighbors to address their concerns. Again, they are looking to petition the landlord, because they are a tenant, to make repairs to the fence in the back, clean the back of the site up to accommodate the concerns from the neighbors. Some of the other concerns were illegal parking, which again is a enforcement issue, so it's not something that we can actively pursue other than telling employees and customers, please don't park in residential areas, please don't park where it is restricted. So again, we believe that this shopping center has sufficient to accommodate the existing pizzeria. Again, the businesses were fully occupied when we did our counts in September. Recently, the dry cleaner next door went out of business, which we believe potentially caused some additional concern within the population of residents that live directly behind the subject site. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Questions from the
Look,
board?
When you say petition the landlord to fix the fence and whatever else needs to be repaired, can you give us a better answer than that? Maybe write them a letter, try to get this done, because it might help the neighbors feel a little better. Maybe put a sign up there saying don't park don't park on the side illegally, respect our neighbors, something to that effect.
Absolutely. I know that on other applications, signs have been posted within the business to direct customers, employees, and others not to park within the residential area. In terms of the landlord, I believe there's a conversation going on in the back to explain further how that process is currently.
Mr. Donlin has already prepared a petition to the landlord to address those issues that I brought up, the fence and the back area. And he just wanted to get through this hearing, and he's going to present it to the landlord right. We're going to follow through 100%. And also, Mr. Donlin's agreed to put up a sign in the pizzeria and the restaurant asking patrons to be respectful of the parking regulations on Kenora and Naomi.
Any other questions from the board? Not, do I have a motion?
Is there anyone else you heard on this?
There's no one else.
I move that the hearing be closed and matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone who signed in on the case will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's ready.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good day.
Next, we have case 15326 near Lawrence, Ozzie Fisher. Variances, subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, maintained dwelling on a lesser lot, demolish existing garage, parcel A, also known as 258 Union Street, as well as a companion case 15426 near Lawrence, Renewed Decks LLC. Variances, subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, construct dwelling parcel B, east side of Union Street, 250 feet south of Pearl Street. Please raise your hand. Swear the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Take a seat, state your name and address.
Dominic Minerva and D'Agostino, 107 South Central Avenue, Valley Stream, New York, attorney for the applicant.
Abraham Ganack, Renewed Decks, 251 Carroll Court, Lawrence, New York.
The application before you today is for variances to permit the construction of a single-family dwelling and maintain an existing dwelling on a lesser lot at the subject premises. Subject premises is located at 258 Union Street in Lawrence and known as Section 40, Block 31, Tax Lots 18 and 19 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. It's located in a Residence B zone. Subject parcel is located on the east side of Union Street, 200 feet south of Pearl Street. The subject parcel contains 15,000 square feet, and the proposal is to subdivide the parcel into two 50 by 150, 7,500 square foot parcels. The only variances requested are for front width for each parcel, with 50 feet proposed and 55 feet required. The parcels are much larger than the minimum 6,000 square feet required for each lot, and all other bulk and area requirements are met with both proposed parcels. The parcels are in keeping with the character of the area, and the granting of the variances will not be detrimental. The variances are minor in nature as well. There's no alternative other than the relief requested from this board to construct the proposed dwelling, as the only variances relate to the existing front width of the parcel, and there is a significant financial benefit to the applicant if the application is approved, which outweighs the non-existent detriment to the surrounding property owners. The area is developed predominantly with the same 50 by 150 size lots as the lots proposed. On the radius map, there are 24 50 by 150 size lots out of 32 parcels, representing 75% of the parcels on the radius map. There is only one other parcel on the entire radius map that may be capable of a similar subdivision, but that one would require additional variances as well than this proposal, and that lot fronts on Rockaway Turnpike. The entire block fronting on the east side of Union Street, which is the subject block front, is entirely comprised of dwellings on 50 by 150 foot parcels other than the corners between Pearl Street and Pacific Avenue, which represents 10 parcels in a row, so it is rather clear of the character of the area. I'm also going to submit as applicant's exhibit A the tax map, because that shows you how this entire section and block is basically chopped up into 50 by 150 foot lots. I'm also going to submit some photos of the subject property and several of the newer homes in the immediate area, which I took on March 9th and fairly and accurately represent the subject properties in the photos.
We'll accept those in evidence. Mr. Minerva?
Thank you. My client is an experienced builder in this area, having constructed 7 homes within a 5-block radius, including the house directly across the street from the subject, which is a smaller home, and sold for $2,080,000 in September of 2025. My client paid $415,000 for the lot and estimates construction costs of $1 million and soft costs of $300,000 for a total investment of $1,700,000. And the projected sale price is $2,500,000, so there is a substantial benefit to the applicant, and is our position there is a non-existent detriment to the surrounding area, as this is clearly in keeping with the character of the area and many new homes being built in this area. In addition to the 7 my client built, he has, I believe, 4 other in process. Also, as I noted, there are no other bulk and area variances required, and the proposal fully conforms to the Residence B district other than the front width of the lot, which is the same for the vast majority of lots in this area, as shown on your radius map.
Mr. Minerva, on the maintain house,
Yes.
does that maintain house have a C of O?
It has I don't believe it has a C of O yet. They filed as part of this application, and it does have a permit. I have a copy of the permit. Maintain existing non-conforming one-family dwelling, and I have the non-conforming conditions. So it was built before. I also have an age letter. That house.
I'm hearing from Ms. First that they, just what you said, they filed for the non-conforming, but they didn't satisfy the conditions to get the C of O. Did I properly say that?
Correct. And one of those conditions is obtain building permit for the maintained dwelling on a lesser lot. So if this variance,
But the other addition is a maintain an addition, which was filed into intake and has been sitting in intake since May. Yeah, looks like since May. It has not passed intake. Application fee has not been paid.
my client understands that as part of this case, that all of the non-conforming conditions will have to be satisfied and all of those permits will have to be pulled and closed of record.
Okay.
And again, one of them is conditioned on this variance. So in the event the variance is granted, they have to pull the permit for the maintaining on the lesser lot as well. And those, will all be closed
Through with those.
of record, and my client will be working with that homeowner to complete all of them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Minerva.
Okay, I would also note that there were 3 variances in the immediate area on the radius map to convert single-family dwellings to 2-family dwellings. I'm going to submit a copy as applicant's Exhibit C, my last exhibit, from 2012 and 2022. The 2012 variance indicates it was granting a non-conforming 2-family, and the 2022 decision indicates it was granting a use variance. There was an older one from the 1990s, but was unable to locate a copy of that decision. Those properties are at 246 Spring Street, 259 Union Street, and 258 Spring Street. So there are several 2-family dwellings in the area. The existing dwelling on the subject premises, which now has the permit for the non-conforming 1-family, but the age letter indicates that it was a 2-family dwelling and had been converted to a 1-family dwelling, which is going to now be maintained. The applicant will accept the standard conditions of this board placed on new dwellings that receive a variance, including adding a single-car attached garage and a driveway leading to same. We understand the plan as presented or filed does not conform with all of your conditions, as many applications I have presented to this board, and assuming that the variance is granted, the building department will ask for amended plan complying with all of the conditions and covenants. We do request that the covenants, assuming that this application is granted, be filed against the new house, tax lot 19 only. Based upon the testimony and evidence submitted, we request your favorable consideration and remain available for any questions. I would just note that each tax lot is its own separate assessment roll parcel already. and was been on separate deeds, although it was in common ownership at some point, which is why we are here. But my client understands that in the event the application is granted, we still have to file with the Nassau County Planning Commission for the division.
That concludes your presentation.
Yes, it does.
Would you agree to have that outside entrance to the basement taken off?
Yes, I've advised my client that the standard single-family dwelling conditions include no exterior basement entrance, so absolutely. As well as all the normal conditions that the board typically places on variances for new single-family dwellings.
Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Move the hearing be closed. The matter placed on the decision calendar. You will be notified by mail of the board's decision as
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Mr. Minerva, can I ask a question, just informally? No. Well, I'd like to ask a question of the builder. I think your attorney mentioned that your soft costs are $300,000 on a construct.
Yeah, that includes.
How do you arrive at that figure?
That includes the real estate brokers commission, which will probably be over 100 by itself, financing costs, the carrying costs on over $1 million in
Financing,
money.
Broker
the
gets
taxes.
$100,000.
Less.
I
4%.
would expect less.
4% of 2.5 is
Substantial.
100,000, yeah.
Okay.
4% is pretty much the going rate
Yeah.
for a broker's commission. That's 100 grand.
Somewhere around that figure, yeah.
200 others. Okay. Thank you.
What, being a broker?
That concludes the PM calendar. We will therefore take a 15-minute break.
What it is for the third story is concerned because they just specifically say that okay. For the third story. Yep. But the deck is more. It encroaches further. That was on the plans or it was? It was, but it wasn't brought up to. Yep. Okay. Bring it up to that. Yes. So one family only, I mean, we always. Yes. Departmentalized. Yes. So the conditions that we impose, it's that there's no sleeping or cooking in the basement. Yeah. Yeah.
Decisions, the PM decisions. Case 152 of 2026, Seaford, LDG Group LLC, DBA Geno's of Seaford. Variance in off-street parking, expand pizzeria into portion of the existing building, northeast corner Merrick Road and Kenora Place, running through to Naomi Place. 3535 to 3555 Merrick Road. We'll need a CEQA, and then we'll need a decision. I think we're all in agreement on the CEQA, so somebody can make that motion.
I make a motion on case 152 of 26 Seaford LDG Group LLC Geno's Pizza. I move that we adopt a negative declaration as to CEQA determination based on testimony given, exhibits in the file, and other materials we have reviewed and analyzed.
Second?
Second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now with respect to the application itself, I'm sure we have some questions, comments, etc. Anybody want to speak first? Do we want to put a condition that garbage pickup is made in business hours? Did he also say deliveries would be made during business hours?
The notes that I took down were that garbage was taken by private carting twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, and that was during business hours to not disturb the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to deliveries, I didn't hear any testimony about any tractor trailer deliveries. It was the vans, box trucks, and that it was made in the morning prior to the hours of operation.
And only in the parking lot.
There's some key system. That's correct, Christine.
And they are going to remove the pizza truck and the box truck from the premises. And did we impose a condition that they post signs in the store not to, or is that something?
Yeah, my understanding was that he was going to be telling customers whether or not that's by sign or verbal.
Once they're in the place, what's the use of telling them they already parked their cars?
I thought he said like inside the restaurant he was going to have a sign.
They should put up a sign so that repeat customers will be nice neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so a sign in the restaurant regarding parking in the lot only.
Correct.
And the box truck?
Right.
I make a motion on file number 152 of 26 Seaford LDG Group LLC DBA Geno's Pizza, Geno's of Seaford be granted on the condition that A, the garbage be picked up during business hours, B, they remove the pizza truck and the box truck from the parking lot, C, that they have their food deliveries only within the parking lot, not on the side street. And D, that they have a sign inside the restaurant not to park on the side streets and to respect their neighbors.
And the garbage pickup?
He
Did mention it? Okay.
Okay, I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Cases 153 of 26 and 154 of 26 near Lawrence. First case is applicant is Ozzie Fisher. Second case is Renewed Decks LLC. First case 153 subdivision of lot front width on from and on street line to front setback line. Maintain a dwelling on a lesser lot. Demolish the existing garage. That's parcel A. That property is known as 258 Union Street. And 154 of 2026 near Lawrence, Renewed Decks LLC. Variance is subdivision lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, construct a dwelling on parcel B. That's 250, the east side of Union Street, 250 feet south of Pearl Street. We need CEQA determinations on both. I believe On 153, the applicant agreed to remove the exterior entrance, and we're talking about new home conditions. Can I have a sequel determination with respect to both cases?
Yes, I move that we adopt a negative declaration as to the CEQA determination based on the testimony given, exhibits in the file, and other materials we have reviewed and analyzed.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And with respect to the applications themselves? Can I have a motion?
Yeah, I move the case and with the conditions that have been discussed.
That's on both
Usual
cases.
subdivision conditions,
Mhm.
yes.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Case number 619 of 2025 was graciously withdrawn. That, I believe, concludes the regular calendar.
No, you can, we're gonna. No, we're not gonna keep it.
Okay.
We're gonna decide.
Did you guys want to revisit the point lookout case from earlier this morning?
I think
Yes.
Mrs. D'Amato did.
Yeah, there was a residual issue, but, yes. First of all, did anyone have any input on that case?
Any input on case number 143 of 26, point lookout?
Well, it's the usual shoehorning of a large structure in a minuscule lot, but that's what they do in Point Lookout.
So I would move that case 143 of 2026 in Point Lookout. The address is 54 Mineola Avenue. Be approved with the usual new home conditions and a note about the actual lot area occupied of the house versus that which it increases by the deck, and that there be a condition that not ever be further enclosed.
And also just adding side yard to the relief needed because of those AC units. They did go and pay
Correct.
the additional fee.
Great.
All in favor?
And you got the numbers right. I think it was 36.7
36.7
and 11.8.
11.8. Okay.
Reserve. Anything good on the reserve calendar?
Let's see, do I have any updates? Okay, so, 406.
How about nothing on 247? Okay. Go on, I'm sorry.
So,
I'm sorry.
104 of 26, the applicant did submit, you're gonna recall, that was the case in Point Lookout where, Becky, she reviewed the plans and noticed there was it was a construction issue, which was not a zoning issue, but a construction issue with respect to it being FEMA compliant or not, with respect to materials used. So, the applicant did amend their plans. It was shown to the plans examiner, and it passed muster.
Who was the plans examiner?
It was Eric Flamighetti.
I knew you'd say that.
Well, I also showed it to another plans examiner, Vinnie Albert, and he reviewed it as well. And again, that's an issue that's handled in construction. It's not a variance issue, but based on what was presented to both plans examiners, it was.
It now could accommodate the necessary FEMA.
Correct.
Accoutrements.
Correct.
Okay. Want to take a vote on that? No new variances triggered at all? Okay.
All right, I move that
You wanna make a
case
motion?
104 of 2026, 55 Inwood Avenue, Point Lookout, be approved as requested based on the new plans and the new review by two plans examiners with the usual conditions. The rooftop deck and the secondary deck never to be further enclosed in any way.
Second?
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I got that.
Wow.
Okay, so, all right, the next update that I have is on the next page, page 2, cases 115 through 117 of 26. You will recall the AC units were not shown on the initial plot plan. Well, it just so happens that they encroach into the side yard and they do need variance. So,
Sinelli.
Sinelli. So I don't know if the board wants to decide that case, or if you would like to hold everything until all structures are presented to the board.
Let's hold it.
That's what I thought the board would do, but.
When in doubt, hold it.
Okay, okay. I'm doing the ones that I have an update on. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I have no update on that one. Okay.
Well, you're not the board. You're just one member.
So, the other update that I have, is on the next case, 122 of 26 through 123 of 26. That's that immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
And they did provide the LLC information, but my understanding, based on the survey that was filed in the 60s with respect to when the house was constructed, it appears as though the maintained deck also needs variance relief because they enlarged the deck. So my understanding is that it encroaches into the side yard.
Is that the one that was this big, the deck, when it was?
Yep, and now it's much larger. So that, my understanding is that also needs variance relief. So I don't know if the board wants to do the same thing it did with the one in front of it and hold on to it until we can hear everything.
I think we'll hold that one as well.
What I figured, but I asked.
And then you're gonna deal with the administrative aspects of?
Correct. So once they file, we'll deal with that.
Someone's gonna let them know they have to file.
We already have. I actually I sent the survey that had the initial dimensions of the deck to the expediter. So if they find something at odds with us that shows that their deck was legalized, enlarged, great.
Okay.
But I don't have that.
Okay.
Now, the next one I have an update on, 124-26 through 125 of 26. They did submit their plans, but the plans that they submitted were kind of incomplete. Some of them had the stamp that they were reviewed by the plans examiner, some didn't. So they need to square that away before we can make a determination. But everyone's working on it.
Good, we'll hold it.
Okay, so those are my updates.
Mr. Plumer, 112 of 2026.
This is the case that I inspected. It's too tall, you guys said. That was an issue. Right next to it, 2 or 3 story synagogue they're building on West Broadway. I personally had no problem with it. They have more problems from what's being built and where it is.
What was the excuse?
I think they said the architect made a mistake.
No, he almost admitted he made a mistake, but he didn't utter the word.
I mean, the guy in his wife was here. What did they say?
Yeah, well, I think the presenter was Mr. Zavaldi. This is another instance where a contractor made a mistake. And in theory, we don't want to penalize the principals because
On one hand, if we were gonna approve it,
it's not a.
I wanted to bring in the guy in question. If we are not gonna approve it, which is what the board was leaning toward, as I understand it, then we didn't bother asking about that. Isn't that the case?
This was the one that was constructed, so there was a variance granted in 2020 to build a home, and it was constructed too tall. That is correct.
1.2 feet was my recollection.
They gave us kind of, I said, what did they tell you why?
Well, this was a flat roof, right?
I don't recall if it was a mansard.
No, I didn't think there was a pitch. There's a pitch
He's
in
got
the
a
middle.
photo.
I don't know if
Show
it's a
Joanne the
mansard.
photo.
Is it a mansard roof? I can pull the file if
He's
you'd like.
got, no,
Get it.
he's, Mark has a photo of
Sometimes
it.
you can't really tell with a mansard. No, I believe this was a mansard roof. I think you're right. This is a mansard roof, so there's the pitch, but it doesn't go to the peak. It's a pitch and then flat.
Flat.
Yes, I
Mhm.
believe you are correct, and that's, you can't tell with a photo. Yeah. Would you?
No, but that's that flat roof when it was up 2 feet.
That's
Because
my
I asked right, I wanted to, personally, I want to know how much it would cost to come down 2 feet.
Yeah. And I believe you are correct in that it was.
I don't know, I can't.
I think it's a mansard roof, so there's a slight peak, but it's flat on top. And then the issue with mansard roofs is that they're easy to convert if they're tall
See, this
enough.
is flat.
Mhm.
Like, look over here, it doesn't look flat to me.
So,
This one, I think they stated that it was a pull-down staircase, and I
Yeah.
think the height, I think it was like 6'9", so it doesn't comply with state code, but.
so let's talk about the ramifications of a denial. Because I think that in the past, the board has, rightly or wrongly, taken the position that when something like this comes before us, you don't want to penalize the people who own the home. However, that seems to have translated in many instances to what the old board used to do. No aspersions intended, but you build it, we'll approve it. I find that it's become far too common to build it and approve it. And that's what I heard before I started sitting on this board. My theory, and maybe I'm a little more, shall I say, unkind than some or most of the board members, but I don't know the last time, and I don't know many lawyers, I don't know many doctors who, when they make a mistake, they don't pay the price. And quite frankly, although you have theoretically, you've had innocent applicants, I think that certain people have developed a reputation in their communities where this is the guy you go to get something done, and the guy comes in, plays the same little game. And I think it's about time that the board took a position, if it's, and I don't care whose fault it is, that becomes the homeowner's problem. It's not our problem. If the architect makes an error, that's the architect's problem. If the builder makes an error, that's the builder's problem. Why do we have to just rubber stamp things that come in? And you can make that argument, by the way, on any case, especially when you have a case where, as Mrs. D'Amato said, we don't have the builder coming before us to explain how he made it 1 foot 2 inches too high or 1.26 feet too high.
And we did ask. And I do believe the homeowners aren't clear on it. But again,
well, they never are. Even if they are, they're not
I
clear on it
agree
when
with
they
you.
come before
This
us.
is unacceptable.
It's become habitual.
Especially since we learned from the courts that the precedential impact of this stuff is significant.
That's correct.
Can I voice my opinion?
Go right ahead.
My opinion, I inspected it. My opinion is that it's sort of a hardship case. To me, it wasn't done intentionally. They're right next to this commercial building that's towering over their house anyway. You can't tell. The house fits into the neighborhood. It's nice. And to me, for 1.2 inches to make these people take their roof line down.
1.2 feet.
1.2 feet. That's what I meant. Excuse me. I understand the presidential value of it, but things change. And it's right on the edge of Cedarhurst where you have heights that are 5, 6, 7 feet tall than that with 3 stories. So as far as the contour of the neighborhood, I checked that. It fits right in. And my opinion is we should grant this, maybe on a hardship or whatever you want to do, but that's my opinion.
But you can make that argument on every case that comes before us. It's a hardship to the homeowner. That's true. And they should be able to litigate against whoever made the error in the first place. Otherwise, this becomes a board where, the old adage about build it and we'll approve it becomes de rigueur, and I'm not inclined to do that. That's my own opinion. And I'm not, well, that's my opinion. You know what? The last time I hearken back to the same cases or similar cases where the one guy in East Rockaway built it, lived next door, was a contractor, built it 5 feet too close to the curb, and we still haven't given that man a CO. Unfortunately, I don't know how many violations he's got for that.
Build it up to the curb, you're right.
He
which
built
was
it up
5
to the
feet.
curb, and of course, it was a contractor's mistake. So at the very least, in connection with this particular case, I'm going to side with Mrs. D'Amato. I want the builder in here. I want the builder. I'm not going to deny it, but I want the builder in here to see who's going to take the blame. Fine. Have a vote.
You said you're not going to deny it?
I'm not going to deny it today, but my inclination is to deny this case and every other case where they come in with the same story. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, do we have the power to, and it sounds crazy, but do we have the power to subpoena, for instance?
We do.
The builder to come in and testify?
Absolutely.
So why can't we pursue that option?
We
That's,
do,
I think, what John
we
suggested.
do have that ability, but, I mean, my 2 cents on the matter is that the applicant comes with their own materials and they're prepared to present with what they have.
And
I don't think it should be on the board to create a case for an applicant.
And maybe the applicant, if they knew what the cause was, and by the way, I'm not sure the cause in this case was
The builder.
the contractor, because the architect half admitted that it was his mistake when he what is it? He said the BFE or the DFE was 00. He had the wrong numbers.
He zeroed out there.
He zeroed it out. So, and the fellow who I believe made the mistake, if you want to call it a mistake, was sitting here and testifying.
So does the homeowner, obviously, they have the right to sue the architect?
They have recourse against whoever did it. Hopefully he's got errors and omissions. Unfortunately, some people do, some people don't, but, and that is not the first time that particular person came in here with a similar story. And, I think it's becoming almost habitual.
Yeah.
And of course, in the real world, when people hear, well, he got this done, and he got this done, and he got this done, he's now, quote, the man, unquote.
So in this particular case, who's that person?
It was, I don't want to put the name on the record, but, it speaks for itself. Well, I'd like people to think about it until the next meeting, but,
That makes sense.
but,
There's no harm, no foul. It's an existing structure.
that's right. right.
So if you need a couple more weeks to kind of sit on it,
Yeah.
who's being harmed?
And with,
No one.
and what I've seen takes place is that nobody gets violated.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't get their CO. And maybe when there's been a change in either in the zoning in that area, or there's a change in the makeup of the board, and the intention of the board is to do something other than what I said, what I indicated, maybe they wait and then they can apply for a CO.
What's the difference between that, let's say, that's as far as height. What about all this maintained stuff? People just build what they want.
Well, no.
And they
But and we do not have to, we don't have to approve it if we don't want to approve it. And B, that the state law says you can't discriminate against people who built it. If it's been built, you can't discriminate against those people. Because the theory being that,
let's say somebody builds this monstrosity kitchen. I'm not talking about the guy that was here.
Yeah.
Anybody in particular.
Yeah.
We've never made them take it down.
Yes, we have.
And I've never been here.
Remember the portico that was in Lakeview, Rockville Center?
Yeah.
The portico that Ms. Pangallo presented?
And the classic case, the classic,
No, this was a structure that they built that was presented as a proposed, but there was an inspection that confirmed it was already built at, I believe, 16 feet high when the allowable is 9 feet high.
So my reply to the chairman, what I understand what he's saying is, he's got a point, but, we don't, on other things, we don't make anybody take.
well, maybe we should make a hard and fast rule in terms of things like this, where it's egregious, that send out the message that we're not going to approve it. And then guess what's going to happen? They won't try to pull what they pulled before. I mean, that time has passed. But again, I don't want anyone to make a decision today. But I may go out and inspect it. But I understand your concerns. And I know. But my concern is not so much with your observation or observations. My concern is with respect, what the hell are we going to do going forward? What are we going to do going forward? So Joe Blow, this guy comes in at 1.2, next guy comes in at 2.5. 2.5. Where do you draw the line? The code says 30 feet.
Right up our ass.
Yeah, and when the courts turn around and say, well, you granted, we've made mistakes. Since I've been on this board, we've made mistakes in other areas. And we had it shoved up or you know what because of it. And you can't undo what you've already done. But I look at certain areas in the town and I say, how in the name of God? And you look at the papers, you look at the drawings, and you can't for the life of anybody anticipate what some of these monstrosities are going to look like. And everybody wants to build a $3 million home. So whether or not they rent it out for $50,000 a month during the summer, because it's a beach community or not. And you know what? One mistake doesn't mean you have to make mistakes for the rest of your life. My opinion. We're going to hold a case. We'll come back and make a decision in a couple of weeks.
Okay, Christina will work on this.
Yep, let me just, those are all of my updates.
What do you have, Patrick?
I don't have any building, do you have any building department updates?
No, the one I know that they went out, I need the update from the inspector.
Okay.
That would have gone bad.
I have some administrative stuff.
Go right ahead.
We have 3 extensions of requests. Extensions of time requests. So, the first one is to complete construction. It is Mindy Kamen at 74 Vermont Avenue in Oceanside. They are looking for an extension to get complete construction and secure their CC. They currently have HVAC, a permit for HVAC equipment that is awaiting their permit numbers. We have given them 2 extensions to date. They are timely.
Maybe get that to Kim first.
And the original grant was for?
Complete construction, did you say?
Yes.
Are there photos?
Yes, our photos. It was an extension on the house. It was construct a 2nd story and a 2-story addition, roof over open porch, all attached to dwelling. There are photos.
Does it look okay? We started asking for those because some of the places were in horrible. They have
Again, it looks like
materials everywhere.
The only
People
thing
going
that they're
crazy.
waiting for is they're waiting to get the paperwork done on the HVAC equipment.
I think we should do it.
9 months?
Yeah.
The erroneous
sorry.
gestation?
Sorry, the gestation period.
It's the erroneous.
10 months.
10 months.
10 months. It's 40 weeks. 40 divided by 4.
The other one is for Moores of Baldwin, also known as Sonny's Canal House.
Oh, boy.
Ah,
Oh, boy.
This has been floating around for a long time. We last gave one about 6 months ago. They had to close out one permit, and I'm not sure what the holdup is, but they have completed construction. If you see, look at all the photos. They're done.
It's the one that kept getting water in it up to a certain level.
Yes, it's the one that has the marks all the way around the bar that says when Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Irene. Yeah. Yep, okay.
10 months?
10 months.
sold American.
And the other is the Verizon application at the Sands in Atlantic.
Wow.
Ah.
Very excuse on that one.
So, building permit application filed prior to the board application regarding the generator were not issued by the building department until February of this year, requiring responses that will take all those forms to the
Didn't break skin.
Okay, we
What else
have
we got?
Seaford 4034 LLC, 4034 Sunrise Highway in Seaford. We heard this case in June of 2024.
Thank you.
Construct a Chipotle restaurant and a retail tenant. One-story building. It was a special exception to park in a Res B. Special exception for proposed drive-through restaurant, outdoor dining, off-street parking.
Is Chipotle the drive-through or? I didn't even know they had drive-through.
I think they said that they were doing it kind of as a
Like mobile
Pilot
order.
or something?
mobile pickup.
Yeah, so what's the other business that goes with it?
It's going to be a retail business. Use variance to install trash enclosure, double face illuminated sign, two signs. So there was some confusion with the applicant and the architect. They never secured their permits. They never picked up their permits. They've blown past the time period for an extension of time, and they are asking for a reopening or rehearing for the case.
And I think it's completely appropriate if the board is so
We,
inclined.
we don't want to rehear this case,
I don't think we want to rehear this one.
No, can't we administrative?
just for the hell of it, maybe.
I mean, I think the board can grant a variance
So it's
I think the board can grant a variance with respect to 271 of the BZO, which is the time period by
Right,
which
you have to make a
obtain.
request.
So we
And
can do
then
that.
we could do that.
We could do a sua sponte reopening and granting, or else you can just grant an extension.
we can give a variance for the variance.
Exactly,
Right?
correct.
Which is what town board does.
That's what town
I
board
would like
does.
to just grant the extension of time,
Which
unless someone doesn't want.
I
this.
believe that's what town board does. They grant essentially a variance with respect to the time limitation, and then they grant the extension, correct?
I think that's
Pat?
the way to go,
Yes.
unless someone has.
Let's have a variance with a variance, okay? Yeah,
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, I don't think we-
make a motion? Make a
don't
motion
have to do-
just for the hell of it.
I move as it relates to case number 380 of 2024, 381 of 2024, 382 of 2024, and 383 of 2024, affecting the property located at 4034 Sunrise Highway, that we grant them a variance as to section 271 related to the time in which they have to file a request for an extension of time, and further that we thereafter grant them an extension of 10 months.
2 months?
10 months in order to take the next step of needed in their process.
All right,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.